it's Friendly Toad here, and I'm going to show you how to make your own Asheron's Call private server using ACE. So why don't we just jump right into it and follow along. I'm going to try to make it as straight to the point as possible. Yeah, so if you just do what I do, you can have your own local server up and running in no time. So first things first, we're going to want to go to, let's see here, type in GDLE enhanced. So we're doing an ACE server, but I find if we go to the GDLE website, we can download all the Asheron's Call files easier. So if you go under installing, you can download the Asheron's Call installer and install that. Once it's installed, you're going to want to get the DAT files, which is the updated retail files. So you download the zip, and then if you go to your C drive, turbine, Asheron's Call, this is where you paste the zip files and it'll update your client. So we'll close that. I'm assuming most of you have your Asheron's Call already installed, so yeah, just go do that if you don't. And then next we're going to go to the ACE emulator website. Okay. So on this site, if you go under frequently asked questions and server setup guide, this is going to be our Bible for setting our server up. So we're going to need a server. There's MySQL or Maria database. I prefer MySQL. So we'll click that. Click the top download link. And then you want to click this one here, download. I actually deleted my server so I can restart and do this with you guys. And I lost all my characters, but I don't really mind because I want to help out. So we click the installer and open it up. Technically, you can follow this page, which tells you step by step how to do it. Sign up your server, but I find I'm a visual learner, so if you watch what I do here, I've set up a few, so I know what I'm doing. So if you go to server only and you click execute, just let it do its thing. Click next, next. You want a standalone MySQL server. Okay, under config type, change it from development computer to server computer. You want to leave the port and all this stuff the same. Use a strong password, click next. And then you want to put your password in. And this, I'm probably going a little bit too fast to follow along, so you can always pause it, or like I said, you can follow the page here. And then you want to leave this all the same and click next and then execute. Yeah, this video is just so you can actually see someone setting it up all in one go. So click finish and then next and then finish. Okay, so now we have our server set up, and you can follow along on this page. This is exactly what I did step for step. And that's it. Now we're going to click back, and you can set up your, okay, once you have your server set up, you have to set up your database in that server. You can do it this way, which step 2 is the easiest server setup, but it doesn't give you all the local code on your computer. So if you want to do custom content and all that stuff, this one pretty much just hooks you up to the server, which I believe is linked to the GitHub, and then it just pulls from there. I like to do it manually and set my database up manually so I can edit things as I want. So we'll just scroll down and we'll click skip step 2 and click step 3, set up and import the ACE database. So before we get started on this, if you scroll down here and skip all these steps and go to step 9, you want to extract the latest ACE master. So we're going to click that. And under here where it says clone or download, we're going to click download zip. I'm not going to do it because I've already done it before, but you're going to download that, the zip file, and then you're going to extract it to C drive and have it here as ACE master in your C drive. We're also going to create a folder called ACE. inside that ACE folder, you're going to want to create 3 folders. One's called DATS, logs, one's called logs, one's called server. And make sure that's spelled correctly. Inside the DATS folder, you're going to want to put in the DAT files. To get those, you go to the ACE emulator website and you scroll down to step 6, which is compile the ACE server. And if you scroll down past all this, you'll find, where is it? Just after step 10, it'll say link to the DAT files. What you're going to do is you're going to download those, and then you're going to extract them into your DATS folder. And then the next step we're going to do is you're going to download the world database, which is right under step 9. So click on that. This will take us to the GitHub where you scroll down and keep scrolling all the way to the bottom, and you're going to download your ACE World Database SQL file. So I'm not going to download it, but click download. I have mine in this folder here, which is my ACE folder. This is the one that you just downloaded, the World Database. I just put it here for to keep it off my C drive, but what I want you guys to do when you're downloading it is put it on your C drive, just to make it easier to follow along with the ACE website, because they use the server step website, because they use it on the C drive. Or you can do what I did and put it on ACE, but I'll show you the steps to import it later. Okay, so we got a DATS log server ACE database in our ACE folder. Then we got an ACE master. If you open this, it'll show you all the code. And then if we open up database and base, these are the 3 databases we're now going to link to our MySQL server. We got authentication, shard, and world. The authentication is, I believe, it's just like all your accounts. The shard base is what's actually on your computer as think of it as like the instance of your world. And then the world base is all the information about the landscape and buildings and trees. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a professional on this, but from what I gathered, that's what all this is. And then what's it? Here we go. Okay, and then the ACE World database is all your items, like your weapons, monsters, NPCs, all that. So what it does is when the server loads up, it will load up all the stuff in your ACE database here. Hold on a second. So all the stuff in your ACE master database world, it loads up the world, and then it generates everything from the ACE world database. Sounds confusing, don't need to know it, but for people like me who like to know that stuff, I'm just giving you the information. Okay, so now that we have that all done, we can close that and scroll right back up to the top. So we're going to now create and import the databases. So what you can do is just slide this over to the right and then search for MySQL, and you're going to run MySQL 8.0 command line. I have it on my desktop here, but yeah, so you run that, slide that puppy over, and you put in the password that you created when you made your original server. Okay, so they say not to put your databases on your root account and to create another account, but because the only thing I'm doing with this server is running Asheron's call, I don't have anything else going on. So I'm just going to do it off the root, and you guys can follow me off that. And if anyone wants to know how to make a separate account, a separate user for doing that, just feel free to leave a comment, and maybe I can make another video showing that. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in our password. We're going to create our databases. So those databases I showed you earlier, we're going to create, right-click, copy. So we're creating the ACE auth database. So click here. You can't right-click and paste. You have to Control V. So we're going to create our database. Then we're going to scroll down. We're going to copy and create our shard. That is shard, not shart. It's a shard. And then we're going to create our world database. which like I said is the landscape and all that such. And then now just gonna skip this stuff. This stuff is about creating your own user and blah 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 blah. We're just gonna use root. So now, and it says flush privileges. You don't really have to do that because we didn't make anything, but I'm just gonna do it anyways. Flush privileges. This, when you flush the privileges, if you had create your own different user, it just flushes the admin rights you gave them and stuff and blah blah. Don't worry about it. Okay, now we're gonna import the databases. So if I type in here show databases semicolon, it will show the ones we just created here. You always have to use a semicolon to finish a command. So we're gonna now use auth, which selects that database that we made earlier, and just keep scrolling down here. So you go to number 10, we're gonna source out those files in the ACE master folder that I had shown you. So we're gonna connect that auth to the authentication-based SQL. And it'll do that. And now we're gonna use the shard. So now we're selecting the shard database, and we're just continually doing the same thing. Now we're gonna we're gonna point the server to the shard SQL. So just copy paste, and it'll do its thing. And last but not least, we're gonna do the world. And we're literally just pointing the server to the files that we had downloaded. And now we're gonna point it, we're gonna source it. Now we did the world. And these again I'm pointing them to the ACE master, database, base, these files right here. Okay, so now that we have that done, we're going to want to import the actual world database. So if you select source ACE world database SQL, just copy that without the quotes and put it in here. And see how it says C ACE world database? If you had extracted it into your C drive, that's fine. Like I said earlier, I had mine in my C ACE folder. So I'm going to go to that file and I'm going to right click it. I'm just going to copy the version number. So I'm going to copy that. Yours would be in the C drive. So you could just copy it from the website here and do it. And then just press the arrow over, and we're going to delete the X's and copy the version number that we have downloaded. But see how it says C here? I'm going to just keep going over and just add one extra little command here to point it to my ACE folder, because that's why I have it installed. If you installed on your C folder, you just leave it all the same. And it just takes a little bit longer to do this. So I'm going to press enter and let it do its thing. So while it's doing this, I'll explain. Whenever you download a new database file, as the ACE community releases new ones, you do this exact same procedure. You'll open up your MySQL command client, and you're gonna just source out this and then change it to the new version number and press enter, and it'll reload the new database into your server. I have a pretty fast computer, so this is going quick, but for some people it might take a while. Shouldn't be too much longer. Okay, and that's that. So I'm just going to type in quit, and that will exit us from our server, MySQL command prompt, I should say, and we'll click back. Okay, next thing we want to do is install Visual Studio. I always call it Studios. And then click this top link to download Visual Studio. You're going to want to install it, follow these steps. I already have it on my computer, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, just follow it step by step here. It's very intuitive. You're going to want to install so, well, I might as well just read it. Yeah, so you're going to download it, run the installer, select desktop development, scroll down and select .NET Core, cross-platform development, then you click install. When it's all finished installing, Visual Studio will open, close Visual Studio, and the installer window behind it. Okay, once you have that downloaded, you're going to need the .NET Core SDK runtime files. So click step 5, and then just click download. And you're going to want to install SDK 3.1.200. So you're going to want to install the one under Windows if you have Windows right here, the x64. Okay, and then once that's installed, you're going to now need to compile those files that you downloaded in the ACE master. So we'll click on compile ACE MU server. So we had already downloaded that. Download Visual Studios, we already did that. So once you have Visual Studios installed, you're going to want to open up your C drive again. And then you're going to want to go to ACE master. And then you're going to go to source. And then you'll find a file called ace.syn. This is a Visual Studio file. So just double click that. And if everything installed correctly with Visual Studio and the SDK files, it should open up. Now that we're in Visual Studio, what you're going to want to do is navigate on the right-hand side to ACE server and scroll all the way down to config.js example. And then in the left window here, if you just click on it, it'll pop up, and you're going to scroll down again to where it says MySQL. You'll have authentication, shard, and world. You guys probably remember those databases from before. And then under username, we're going to leave it as root, but we're going to add in our password that we had created when we originally created MySQL server. So you put your password in there, and you're going to want to do the same thing for the shard and for the world. Once that's done, you can click File, Save config.js example you click that and save it. And then you're going to scroll all the way back up to the top, and under Solutions ACE 999 projects, we're going to click up top here, and it's going to be on debug for you. You're going to want to switch this to release 64 ACE server, and then you're going to right click the solutions and click build solutions. And it's going to say a whole bunch of stuff in this window down here. And then eventually it'll say successful 9 projects completed, and then it'll say 0 failed. If you get any that failed or a bunch of errors, then something messed up and you're going to have to troubleshoot. But yeah, so again, you're going to go to solutions, right click, build. Once that's done, you can close it. And we're going to navigate back to our C drive, ACE master, source. Now we're going to, instead of clicking ACE-syn, we're going to go under ACE server. And now we have a new file called bin, which we never had before. Now that we compiled we built our solutions, we now have this bin file. So we're going to click bin, it's x64, click release, go to .NET Core App 3.1, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just copy all this data, just shift copy, and we're going to go copy, and now we're going to go back to C drive, go under your ACE folder, and now under server, click that, and then you're going to paste. I already have mine here. It would be empty for you, so just right click and then paste. And then once that's done, if you scroll down in the server folder, you'll find a file called start server, or I believe there's another one, server exe right here. So server exe. Either one would work, but it says ACE server here. I just right click, send it to the desktop, which is right here. So if I open up my ACE server now, just double click it, it's going to pop up. and now it's gonna load those dat files. So it successfully loaded our client portal.dat, our cell.dat. Those are the game files. And then it says here, database does not contain any admin accounts. Since we have no accounts in our game yet, it's going to say that. So the very first account we create is going to be an admin account, which then you can change at a later time if you want. So now our server is up and running. We're good to go. So once our server is running, we just minimize that. And then we go to Thwarg Launcher, which we had installed earlier. In Thwarg Launcher, you have all these servers here which you could connect to, but we want to connect to our server. So to do that, you have to go over to Advanced View. You click Edit Servers, Add Server, and at the top left corner, you click a server, and then you put in the name of your server. Mine, I call it Blood Tide. And then for the server IP, you're going to do 127.0.0.1, which is your local IP. And for the port, you're going to put 9000 and click Add Server. I'm not going to click that because I already have done it, so I'm just going to close it. And then you go back to Simple View, and you should have your server that pops up in this list. Mine's right here, Ace Blood Tide. And then it has my IP there with my port. And if you try to connect and it doesn't work, you might have to go to your router and go to port forwarding and open up the ports 9000 and 9001. You could just search on YouTube how to do port forwarding. But yeah, so if it doesn't work, then you might have to do that. So now that we have this all connected, I have it to inject decal down here. You type in, so if we go back to our actual server here, it says there's no accounts. So the next account you make is admin. So maybe just put in under account name admin and then create a password, and then we can click launch server. So whatever you put in here as account name, it's going to make that account the admin account. Launch. And now it should boot up. Okay, so because I'm running on a 4K monitor, I have to use Decal and I have to use Meg tools to adjust my resolutions and a bunch of other junk. So I'm just going to minimize this bottom taskbar because it gets in the way. I'm going to hide the taskbar and then create a character. Perfect. Now we're loading into our game. So population 0 because it's our own server. And yeah, everything works. Pretty cool. And so let's just exit the game now. And I'll show you a couple basic commands that you can use. So if you look here, I got a little plus in front of my name. That means I'm an admin. So if you go back to Advanced View, you can add different users here. And then by using the Add User function, go back to Simple View and they show up here. So then, here I can click my different user accounts with I got my name here, got my passwords. So let's close our server. So yeah, now we've created that. You can type in this command prompt ace commands, and this will give you all the different commands you can run from the game, from this command prompt or in-game as an admin account. And I think I'm going to create more videos on how to do all these because you can do some really cool stuff on your server. When you're exiting your server, you want to type in stop dash now, and then press enter, and that'll shut your server down. If you click the X and if you've done some editing and stuff, it will mess with it. So yeah, that's how you create your own Asheron's called private server. And if you have any questions, just put some comments in the comment section or leave a message to me on Reddit or on the Discord servers. All right, thanks guys for watching, and hope